agenda?
Yeah.
I'm going to call to order the Wednesday, January 17th, Concord Township Board of Trustees regular meeting, and Connie will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We may have roll call.
Mr. Malcheski?
Present.
Mr. Galloway?
I am here.
Mrs. Luda?
Here.
All right, minutes you have in front of you from the 20th and 29th. Do you have any changes on those?
No.
None for me.
Okay, let the record reflect that I will abstain
Yes.
regarding the minutes on the 20th, since I was not at that meeting. 29th is approved, and then we are tabling the January 3rd minutes. Elected official report, Mrs. Dawson.
I do not have anything.
No
tonight.
fiscal officer
I
report.
do not, no, I mean, financials are done, and they're in process of getting sent to the state right now, so.
If it's all right with you guys, I will just combine my trustee along with administration report. And double down with the empty seat over there. Unless you want me to go over there and just sit down.
I think you should.
Are we getting our money's worth out of you?
Boy, that $1 a month, let me tell you. You sure are. I just want to let you both know that the reimbursement on the 608 project, on the stormwater project, those forms have been completed and signed, and they have been sent to the state. That we do need to then, sort of the last step, and we'll work with stormwater and soil and water on, is we need a conservation plan for that property down there. That's part of the grant. And that is something that we'll be working on in the next couple of months. The hope is that there's, there might be some boilerplate.
We have to file that somewhere?
Yeah, we have to file that, and
With the state or
I'm not exactly
deed
sure.
restrictions.
Yeah, I'm not really sure yet, unless, sometimes they may just require you to have it on, present the plan, and then, somebody, some bureaucrat at Columbus puts it on a shelf or in a hard drive, and that's it, and we keep it on a shelf here. Anyway, it's a requirement as part of the grant, so we have to do it, and so that is something that we'll be working on from a staff standpoint to try to do that as quickly and as painlessly as possible to wrap that whole thing up. And then I'll let you talk about your Pine Hill meeting yesterday.
Yeah, we had a Pine Hill meeting yesterday. Really, it's a Painesville Water meeting.
Yes.
And probably the most important thing about that is that the franchise agreement with Lake County Commissioners have granted a franchise of Painesville Water to Concord area, or portions of Concord area. And that agreement is up this year. And with that, we've also experienced, and I have a list and I have data on how many breaks were on Pine Hill. And they're all on towards the dead end portion of it, Windtree and on up, the majority of them. There are some breaks in Windtree. The reason is there's two different lines there, the trunk lines, and the acidic nature of the soil has eaten away at one of the lines, that being the ones that continue to break. That's the problem right now. It is approximately a $900,000 project to put the entire line in. It was at least reported to me yesterday that they can do the lines in thirds, and therefore it is me lobbying and working with Painesville Water as well as the Commissioner's Office and seeing if we can get that first part. You can do the dead end section, the worst part of it first, and we're hoping to get that done sooner than later. I did follow up with our resident that has been, she had 2 breaks right outside of her, on her property back in, I want to say 15 or 16, but certainly she's been affected more than those 2 breaks because it affects everybody, everybody along that line. But she had one, she had 2 right out in her front yard, some time ago. So I did speak with her. I explained to her where we're at, where we're going, and there's some follow-up. And based upon our discussions at that meeting, we will send an email to City of Painesville and probably CC the Commissioner's office on it as a summary of what we learned from that meeting. And Reed McMahon is going to be doing that email soon, so that'll get out. But I have nothing else to report besides that.
Can they not use some acid-resistant piping
They will use acid-resistant piping
this time?
this time.
Okay.
But I mean, Connie, their first half of the road, they use the right pipe, and for some reason on the second half of the road, they use this different type of pipe, and that's what ate. That's what's
Okay.
eating
That's
away.
weird.
Not now. You would think that just using two different pipes and that connection would cause a problem, let alone the fact that the acid is eating it away. So that's the plan. We shouldn't have a problem once we put a new pipe in there, but the first thing is getting that pipe in there and getting that first third in.
Okay.
I'm certainly concerned about the weakened state of that pipe after the violent freeze thaw that I think we're going to experience this spring. Worries me that we're going to potentially have a bunch of breaks up there in the spring.
Well, here is what the expert from Painesville is suggesting, is that the breaks occur based upon the surge in the line. The surge in the line is based upon, how it is being regulated. And recently, they have the last breakage, if that's a word,
It is now.
that occurred was 1 week after they made some adjustments to the water surge. That 1 week after suggests to them that there was a bunch of air in the lines, and that surge caused that break, and it makes sense to them it was 1 week later, because you would have a bunch of air in the lines and therefore wouldn't carry to Pine Hill until then. And so they think that they've now since put a regulator on there that should control that, and they believe it's a less chance of a break. Now, that was said to me to make me feel better that we shouldn't be having those things. The next concern I had is that we had our resident that came in here to complain. Her concern was that water was being tested, and that she had suggested that there was some question about how potable it was. And I've asked her to give us some data if that's correct, and she was going to look to see what she had. We're going to also address that with Painesville, because she thought that Painesville came by and picked up that water, but maybe it was the health department. So I'm going to check the health department. So there's two potential issues. A, making sure that the line doesn't break, and then B, what problems do we have with the water that's in that, at the end part of that line, if there is water seeping in. So.
Okay.
Connie, what do you have?
No, not a thing this time.
Okay.
And let me just add, when we had that water main break on Auburn, nobody really realized
Yes.
that, because there wasn't some type of monitor there. Now,
They claim that there is one in the system that should have alerted them that there was a break somewhere.
allegedly there's new monitors in there, and so I don't know when they put them in, but it seems to me that that Auburn Road situation would prove that it's not working properly, because that line was broken. There was tons of water coming out, and it was there for 7-8 hours.
That we know of. I don't know what that equates to. Probably 1 million gallons of water went in the creek.
Yes.
And how you would not notice that within your system.
And that part of that asphalt is still missing right there.
That's
County road.
something that, it's still the utility's responsibility. Something that'll have to be addressed in the spring.
Yep.
That's going to bring us to audience portion. I see what appears to be NDCL students, and our tradition is that you come up, give us your first name and why you're here, and then also where you're thinking about going to school. This is so that we can embarrass you and it's on record for your professor.
Right.
So come on up one at a time.
What is the protocol?
Name and what you're studying at NDCL, what this class is about, and then where you want to go to school.
My name's Jack. We're doing this for a government project.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all sorts of government. And looking at going to Lakeland.
Great.
Cool.
Hi, my name is Grace. I'm a junior, and this is for our government project, and I'm going to go to OSU.
Ah, Buckeye. All right.
My name's Catherine Bush. This is for a government project, and I think I'm going to go to Cincinnati.
Bearcats.
Hi, I'm Ian. I'm a senior at NDCL, and I'm here to learn about my local government, and I'm going to Lakeland next year. So,
Great.
yeah.
Hello, my name is Josh, and I'm also a senior doing this for my government project, and next year I'll go to Lakeland.
Okay. Fantastic. Anybody else in the audience that would like to speak before the board? Sure.
I know it's snow time, and I just want to say our neighborhood, we're very grateful. Our roads has been plowed in great shape. However, we have already started the discussion on road repairs. And I wondered if maybe you could outline for the audience the system that takes place, how neighborhood roads are rated, and maybe when that process starts and when repairs start. And
Well, what we do is our service director, Frank Kraska, each spring he keeps a constant update in terms of the roads within our purview. And then he goes out and inspects all the roads, township roads, in the spring, early spring, as we prepare to go out for bids on projects that we're identifying. And then re-examines and rates all the roads. So gives them a grade, that ranking from, 1 to, I don't actually know how many numbers of roads we have. I know lane miles, but not,
Right.
let's say it's 70 roads. There's a ranking in terms of condition. And then the idea is to attack the ones that are in the worst conditions and work the way down the list in that season. Both asphalt and concrete, both in-house repairs with the crews and what we then also put out with contractors. So this is our opinion is this is the most egalitarian way to go about analyzing each year the roads. And as you know, one year a road may, at the end of this year, it might have been 11th on the list last year. We got through 1 through 10, and you're thinking, okay, 11's going to make it to the top, but then this year, because of the winter, it's now the 8th road because something got worse. So that being said, that's the process, reevaluating every early spring and seeing what the road conditions are. I can tell you over in your neighborhood, there are in-house repairs planned over the next 3 years. And for huge swaths of your neighborhood, Christopher Court, all those Seoul. We actually have a long-term plan that Frank has laid out that we went over in our strategic planning meeting, and obviously some of that's subject to change if there's a road that gets progressively worse. I'm sure you can see this year, based on the severity of the winter, that especially the county roads are really getting beat up badly this year. And so that's going to be something that we're going to have to address with the county engineer in March, and how we can get some of those accelerated in terms of repair, like Prouty, sections of Morley, pretty much, the frosty, the heave, and the potholes that we've discovered. I hit one on Morley the other day. I think my Jeep still hasn't been found. And, that's going to be a process on the county roads.
We have out there, and I think it's important to kind of note that we have usually an asphalt contract where we're actually having a subcontractor or a contractor do asphalt repairs and overlays somewhere between 1.5 to 2 inches. We have a cement contractor doing large projects that are greater than $45,000 in nature, and making, taking, whole sections of larger portions of the roadway and totally rebuilding them. We have our own in-house concrete crew that is, again, making large repairs, but doing them in a little bit here and then skipping and doing a little bit there. So not doing a total rebuilding of the road, but it's going down and they're doing a lot of work. You will have other guys that will do patch work, which is really, those are Band-Aids that last about 2 or 3 years. They are somewhat unsightly. We appreciate that, but the idea is to make the road as smooth as possible and hold over until either a contractor or our concrete crew can get there. And then we have guys out there actually making asphalt repairs, and taking and putting those little black lines on all the little cracks and crack sealing, because we find that they will allow the roads to last a lot longer. So there's about five to six different types of activity that goes on over there. That Brightwood area is being evaluated and reevaluated. You will see us probably with a contractor in there, as well as our own crews making full depth repairs on the concrete, Band-Aids, and if you see a Band-Aid there, that means that they're hoping that they get back there in 3 years and totally rebuild, go down from the bottom of that base and rebuild the road up. So I mean, Frank's got a 5-year plan that he has on big projects, and then, as always, we're looking at how many pennies and dimes and nickels we have towards the end of the year, end of the season, to squeeze one more project in. And every year we've been able to do that. Every year it's about almost an additional $100,000 of repair. So hopefully we'll do that, and hopefully as time goes on we'll be able to do more and more of those things. But I just to add a little bit to that.
I appreciate it. Just to let you and everyone at home know, there is going to be, you'll see something this later in the spring, I think, on this, is that the state in the last budget allowed counties to be able to up their license fees, and those dollars go to the county engineer for roads. And a lot of the counties in the area are raising those based on the amount that they're allowed to under the parameters of the law. So Geauga just raised theirs 10. I think Cuyahoga did 5, and I believe our county engineer will be asking the county commissioners to approve a $5 increase, so that they can put more dollars into all the county roads that are in dire need of repair. So something to just keep an eye on. If you're for it or against it, that probably will be coming, it's an issue in front of the commissioners later in the year, probably this spring.
And that's why it's very important when you buy a new car to make sure you tell them that it's Concord 44060 or Concord 44077, and not just give your zip code. Because oftentimes that money goes to Painesville or Mentor instead of us.
Right.
And it's very difficult to get it back. So
There is a process, which we went through a couple years ago.
it's extremely time consuming.
Right. And the other thing is that residents aren't aware that the county is responsible for county roads in Concord Township, and the state is responsible for theirs. They think that the township should take care of all of the roads, but you have to know that we are only responsible for the township roads.
True statement.
Yeah.
There is no old business. New business, item A, resolution 2018-04, enter into a month-to-month lease agreement for the real property located at 9911 Old Giant Cake Road. I am going to table that, in that we do not have some feedback back on that agreement
Okay.
from the other party, so we will table that at this time. And that's going to bring us to resolution 2018-05, authorizing our fiscal officer to close and dissolve the police protection fund.
And I would make that motion.
I'll second it.
And the purpose of this is because when we pass the safety levy, those dollars are now in a different fund, and so this.
There will never be any more funding in that fund, so
That's
it's at a
okay.
zero
It's a
balance.
zero balance, and so it's just a housekeeping matter.
Okay.
Does not affect the police protection in any way. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2018-06 to transfer monies from the fire levy fund of 2191 to the general fund 100 to pay back.
It's 1,000, sorry,
I'm sorry, 1,000
it's typo.
to pay back the temporary transfer of funds previously authorized in resolution 2015-40. This is when we transferred some money some time ago, back in 2015.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cleaning up all your finances today, aren't you, Amy?
Well, you know, it was that second meeting, I thought it would be a
Yeah.
good meeting.
It's Amy's night.
Yeah.
We need to approve resolution 2018-07. This is entering into an agreement for ancillary and on-call part-time landscaping services at $25 per hour with Matthew S. Sennis. If I can have a motion.
I so move.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a professional engineer that we retain with the township outside of the county engineer's office to work with us on projects as needed. As part of that, we have to enter into a professional services agreement with Hull & Associates for an amount not to exceed $25,000 for the 2018 calendar year. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we are just
And
signing away.
that's our engineer has moved to another
Firm.
firm, and so
And that's why we have to.
that's why he did it.
Same guy, different firm.
Right.
There's two things.
I make a
here.
motion to adopt resolution 2018-08, a resolution
No.
authorized.
Oh, yep, sorry.
A resolution authorizing the Board of Trustees for Concord Township to enter into a written agreement with the Medical Repair, Inc. to provide services for the Concord Township Fire Department.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion to adopt resolution 2018-09, enter into a contract with CoStar Group to provide commercial real estate data service. And the reason for this is because the one we had before is no longer in existence.
That's correct. We were previously with a service called Excelligent, and they abruptly went bankrupt and closed. And so it's left a lot of commercial entities and municipal entities scrambling to replace those services. CoStar is been around a long time, and they seem to be providing filling the vacuum, if you will, as it relates to those services. They've provided a very good competitive rate for municipalities that sign up that were Excelligent customers.
They sent out a representative to see us, which I thought was very important because they met with us, and I always like to see the person that I'm dealing with and answered all our questions. So,
And I'll second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
As you guys are signing away over
Oh, we got
there.
a few more for that. H.
Okay.
Let's see. I would make a motion for Richard Shepherd's step increase effective February 5th of 2018. He is with the fire department.
Part-time firefighter.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did we do G?
Yeah, you flip them around, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I also will make a motion to make a conditional offer to part-time firefighter Michael Brush, pending background check and physical for the fire department.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to adopt fire department PO number 7-20182, Aladec, for the renewal of scheduling software in the amount of $3,600.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 And we need to approve the Summerwood subdivision phase number 3A final plat.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we need to set a public hearing.
Yes.
So, you can sign that one, while I do that. So we are looking at, and this is, you have the letter attached to your agenda here. This was presented to us by Heather Freeman. It came over from the zoning commission. It's been through the county planning commission. You'll also find comments from the county planning commission, along with the recommendations from our zoning commission. And we have to subsequently set our own public hearing for those proposed zoning text amendments. And our next meeting is the 7th of February. And how does that look for everybody in terms of doing that?
Fine.
Fine.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we move our office hours to 6 o'clock. I was just thinking also maybe of shortening it. So from 6 to 7, and then let's set our public hearing for 7. And then the trustee meeting will be 7:30 or at the completion of the public hearing
Okay.
on February 7th.
Very good.
All right. Does anybody have anything else for the board? Michael, anything?
No, I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for asking.
Mike, if that changes, let us know.
Film at 11.
All right, well then seeing nothing, Connie signed that PO.
Oh, okay.
And otherwise, I will go ahead and close this meeting.
Oh, public future meetings and announcements.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're looking at me jumpy. You want to do those?
Love to, Mr. Galloway. On Tuesday, January 23rd at 7 p.m., there'll be a zoning commission meeting here at Town Hall. On Tuesday, February 6th at noon, a staff meeting in the conference room. 7 p.m. zoning commission meeting at Town Hall. Wednesday, February 7th at 6 p.m. will be trustees' office hours here at the conference room. 7 p.m. will be the public hearing they just announced, and 7:30 or upon completion of public hearing, the regular trustee meeting here at Town Hall.
Outstanding. And just as a reference, we do, I know we'll talk about it on the 7th, but there is also a JED meeting on February 9th, right here at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.?
8 a.m.
Thank you.
Our NDCL folks will sign your cards after the meeting, so come on up and we'll get that done for you. Okay, that's going to go ahead and conclude our meeting for this evening. Everybody stay warm and stay safe.